economy and wider society. The university's 21-point agenda reinforces this approach and represents the way in which we will ensure continued progress as an institution which is bold, innovative, and ambitious in its mission. Our plan has been to focus on teaching learning process for outstanding student experience, research and innovation, infrastructure, and outreach. Osmania's educational ethos and approach has been collaborative and inclusive, designed to provide an intellectually stimulating environment. Our commitment to delivering an outstanding student experience is characterized by our founding mission of being the place of useful learning, delivering a distinctive content that is innovative, forward-looking and practical, and fostering academic excellence and achievement. In this direction, we have revamped our courses to make them contemporaneous, creating flexible pathways so that individuals from a variety of backgrounds can benefit from the distinctive student experience. To reimagine the university's brand of excellence in teaching and learning, the following set of initiatives have been launched, reducing the student-faculty ratio from its current 25 to 1 level to a new 20 to 1 level or better, developing and implementing a more effective admission criteria to improve the quality of admitted students, limiting the number of admitted students to cap undergraduate enrollment, employing adaptive teaching and learning methodologies that stimulate students' creativity, improve critical thinking and research skills, and instill in them a sense of responsibility to learn forever, strengthening advising, mentoring and counseling services, promote excellence in teaching with state-of-the-art infrastructure through enhancing learning, through academic programs including extracurricular activities. Continue to update programs to ensure well-qualified graduates in timely manner. Provide regular training workshops for faculty members on new approaches in teaching and learning. Provide a healthy teaching and learning environment inside and outside the classroom. Expanding our research profile and build the conditions that enable faculty and students to advance and disseminate knowledge. Firmly positioned among the leading research-intensive universities in Telangana, we will maintain a strategic focus on our major research teams, for which we have formed academic research committees at various colleges, instituted the Vice Chancellor's Research Awards to incentivize researchers, other initiatives on the annual hour, provide critical mass of human resources for quality research, foster excellence in research, provide sufficient funding, increase the level of research support to faculty, develop the necessary infrastructure needed for research, establish a technology transfer unit. We will strengthen our strategic focus on collaborative research by actively pursuing and developing further collaborative opportunities with leading academic, business, government, and third sector partners. Continuing to enhance the quality of our research output is crucial to our success. With this in mind, we have prioritized efforts and evolved appropriate strategies to improve our performance in key citation metrics over the next 5 years. This will ensure that the new knowledge we generate has maximum impact by reaching the widest possible audience, delivering important reputational benefits, and clearly demonstrating the quality and value of and funders. The Directorate of Corporate Social Responsibility, Alumni, and Branding is a step in this direction. Further, the Human Capital Development Center, with its corporate interface, has already attracted the attention of the corporates. The existence of a supportive innovation ecosystem is crucial in guiding and developing technologies on the journey from new research to commercial applications. At Osmania, this is provided by the Osmania TBI, has already attracted startups and crucially through our industry-facing centers which work collaboratively with industrial partners. We will work intensively in support of small and early-stage companies and help them tackle the unique challenges they face in deploying technological innovation to drive growth, overcome barriers, minimize costs, and develop lasting partnerships. As the top university, we attract talented and ambitious students from across Telangana and overseas, and we strive to provide all students with an enriching experience that will engender a truly international outlook. We will build on this by growing and diversifying our international student population. We have already laid the foundation for a new hostel block for boys, a new administrative building, set up the Civil Services Academy, transform our estate, and deliver first-class facilities, innovative and best-in-class information technology to enhance our teaching, research, and collaborative activities. Ensuring continued financial sustainability as an institution requires that we generate sufficient funds both to cover our operating costs and to support our ambition for investment in our staff and students and in our estates. IT infrastructure and facilities, we have tapped the alumni power. It is also working towards responsible stewardship of resources, increasing student retention and graduation rates, improving student-to-faculty ratio, adopting technology to streamline workflow, reduce bureaucratic hurdles, and improve environmental footprint, improving communications between various academic and administrative entities to effectively disseminate information and materials, inviting and building positive work environments to stimulate collaborative engagement and build trust.
Truly, it was a wonderful show of the achievements that OU had done over the years here. And thanks to Stevenson sir and his team for bringing out this wonderful video. Now it's my turn to welcome all the guests onto the dais. I begin with a young leader, that's Professor G. Mallesam, who is the Dean Development of UGC Affairs. He come out to the dais, sir. He's already on the backstage, the man behind the show. May I request Mrs. G. Sujata to welcome sir with a floral bouquet. Sujata, ma'am. Mallesam sir is at present the Dean Development of UGC Affairs. He has done his bachelor's from OU and master's and PhD from IIT Delhi. He is a postdoctoral fellow from Yale University, US, a serious researcher and academician, and has represented the undivided Andhra Pradesh in athletics in his student days. And it's my turn to welcome our beloved registrar, Professor P. Lakshminarayan sir. Our registrar is from the Department of Mechanical Engineering. He is a passionate teacher with 3 decades of teaching and research experience, with vast exposure in production engineering, member of several professional bodies, rich experience in administration, community service, and corporate activities, a wonderful team player with eye for details. I request G. Monica to welcome sir with a floral bouquet. Now it's my turn to call the man on the mission there. That's Professor D. Ravinder, our Vice Chancellor. He's the 21st Vice Chancellor of the 106-year-old Osmania University. He's a Professor of Political Science. And in his term as a Vice Chancellor, little close to 2 years now, we have seen a flurry of activities like Vice Chancellor's Research Award, Foundation Day celebrations, global alumni meet, infrastructural additions in the form of classrooms, complexes, and hostel buildings, to name a few, including the timely promotions that were done for the teaching and the non-teaching. And he's been an avid traveler across the length and breadth of US, UK, Japan, Thailand, in meeting alumni and Osmania University members for forging MOUs across many universities there. We welcome you, sir, and I request Mrs. M. Padmarani to welcome sir with a floral bouquet. We're also very delighted to have our own professor from English department, now the Honorable Vice Chancellor for English and Foreign Languages University, which is called as EFLU, Professor E. Suresh Kumar, sir, to come out to the dais, please. Professor E. Suresh Kumar has a vast teaching and administrative experience in Osmania University at Hyderabad. He has published several books and research articles, guided several students in the field of English education. He has served as Registrar of Osmania University for 2 years. He has also held several positions in OU as Professor of English, Director District Teaching Colleges, Director Regional Center for Urban and Environmental Studies, Dean College Development Council, Head Department of English, Director English Language Training Center, Director Center for English Training, Student Advisor, and he has traveled extensively across US, UK, UAE, France, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, Thailand, Malaysia. I'm running out of my breath calling all these countries there, and he's been the Vice Chancellor at EFLU. Welcome you, sir. And I request Mrs. R. Kavita to welcome sir with a floral bouquet. Now, our chief guest for this occasion has been maintaining a very low profile, and 1984, that was an history, landmark day in our annals of the country here. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, Ashoka Chakra, into our midst. I think you could do a better job by putting your hands together to welcome Wing Commander CDR Rakesh Sharma, sir. First things first, he is an alumnus of Osmania University, proud son of the soil. May I request Srimati K. Sunita ma'am to welcome sir with a floral bouquet. A short brief about sir. May I request the members to take their seats there. Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma sir graduated from National Defence Academy in 1968. After completion of flying training, was commissioned into the Indian Air Force as a fighter pilot in 1970. He flew 21 operational missions on an MiG-21 aircraft during the Indo-Pak War in 1971, was selected for the production test pilot's course in 1975, and later in 1979 for the experimental test pilot's course at the Test Pilot School of the Indian Air Force's Aircraft and Systems Testing Establishment at Bangalore. Served as an Air Force test pilot for 15 years before being seconded to the industry in 1987. During this period, he was selected for the Joint Indo-Soviet Space Mission in 1984, which culminated in an 8-day near-Earth orbit space flight. He was awarded the Ashoka Chakra by the Indian government, the hero of the Soviet Union, only Indian to receive it till date, and the Order of Lenin by the erstwhile Soviet government. He's the first Indian to get into space. There are many of Indian origin, but he's the only one from India to get into space. Returned to his test flying career after the space flight and served as the chief project pilot of India's light combat aircraft Tejas and as chief test pilot of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. During this period, his skills were to have him in our midst. We talk about WhatsApp call and video calls today, but there was an historic video call that was made in 1984, and the call was between Madam Indira Gandhi, our late Prime Minister, and none other than our Rakesh Sharma sir here. And Indira Gandhi has asked Rakesh Sharma sir, "Upar se Bharat kaisa dikhta hai?" And his response was, "जी मैं भी कह सकता हूँ, बिना इच्छा के कह सकता हूँ, सारे जहां से अच्छा." Maybe Iqbal's poem was immortalized by this word by Rakesh Sharma sir. Now we would do the felicitations first to our chief guest. May I request our Vice Chancellor, Registrar sir, and Malaysian sir as well as Suresh sir to join in felicitating Rakesh Sharma sir, please. Before that, we would request all the dignitaries to lead us with the lighting of the lamp, please. Lighting of the lawn. Light plays a very important role in our lives, and it's in the Indian tradition to lead us from darkness to light. Thank all the intellectual dignitaries who had gone about with lighting the lamp and leading us from darkness to light. Now we would hold a short felicitation ceremony. To our chief guest, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma sir, Ashok Chakra. May I request the Vice Chancellor sir, then Malaysian sir, Registrar sir, and Suresh sir. Truly, it's a honorable moment in the annals of Osmania University today to have the first cosmonaut in our midst. I request the Registrar sir to hand over the fruit basket. Yeah, it's the 1984 image which is on the backdrop of Rakesh Sharma sir. Sir was born in Patiala and studied at St. George's Grammar School in Abbott and did his graduation from Nizam College. And we are equally delighted to felicitate Professor E. Suresh Kumar sir, the Vice Chancellor of English and Foreign Languages University. He has got another credit. He's wearing all black attire. He's also a black belt in karate. I request sir to give away a floral bouquet as well. Register, sir. Thank you so much for the team from the UGC and other non-teaching who have helped us in this organizing. Now it's my turn to invite our registrar, Professor P. Lakshminarayan sir, to give the welcome address on this occasion. Lakshminarayan sir.
Namaskaram to everyone. Today we have gathered here to celebrate the Osmania University Foundation Day of our historic Osmania University. I thank you all for joining us in our happiness. President of today's function, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor D. Ravinder Garu, and Chief Guest of the today's function, Honorable Chief Guest of today's event, Wing Commander Sri Rakesh Sharma Garu, Ashok Chakra Awardee, Mrs. Kaspunak, India, and today's guest of honor, Professor E. Suresh Kumar, Commission Member, University Grants Commission, New Delhi, and Vice Chancellor, the English and Foreign Languages University, IFLU, Hyderabad, Government of India. And convener of this function, Professor G. Mallesham, Dean Development and UGC Affairs, Osmania University. I request all the deans, principals, directors, head of departments, chairperson DOAs, controllers, and his team, additional controllers, chief warden, and all chief wardens, teaching, non-teaching staff, students, press and media, alumni, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all for this Osmania University Foundation Day. Again, I heartily welcome all the esteemed dignitaries on this momentous occasion of 106 Osmania University Foundation Day. For any great work to be done, it is important to have right foundation. It actually forms the platform on which the future stands. The foundation day of the university is the day from which the institution started its journey. It is therefore obvious that the day is special and needs celebration in due manner. Foundation day is also the day when the past, present, and the future of the institution come together, taking oath to uplift the institute to the greatest possible heights and dimensions. I thank the founders of this great institution. I pay my humble tribute to Mr. Usman Ali Khan, Asif Jahi VII, the Nizam of Hyderabad, who laid the foundation of Osmania City and provided us with such an ambitious place to pursue our goals. He had a vision of imparting such a high quality education to the students of Telangana and India. On this auspicious day, we remember the generous contribution of Mahalaka Bai Chanda, Adikmet Jagir, who gave 1,510 acres of land for the establishment of Osmania University. We pay our tribute to the noble soul. Without their vision and constant support and blessings, this institute would not have become what it is today. A special thanks also go out to all the Honorable Vice Chancellors who served this university with great effort and made this university successful. It is their continuous contribution at all times to make it unstoppable. Our love and enthusiasm unite us, and our constant efforts strengthen the Osmania University. The teachers who have been with the institute even since its inception and guided the students in the best way possible in every sphere of their lives. This institution not only produced highly academically qualified individuals, but also people with the overall development and growth. This is what the true education is all about. Once again, on the Osmania University Foundation Day, we make the pledge to work earnestly for the growth and development of the institute from all the aspects. We seek sincerest blessings and wishes from all our teachers, seniors, well-wishers, so that we succeed in our mission. Thanking you all again on our Osmania University Foundation Day for making this journey successful. Once again, I welcome you all for this event. Thank you very much.
Very true, sir. It is all about attitude of gratitude. Thank you so much for paying that rich tribute from the founder to the people who are there behind this university for 106 long years. Now it's my turn to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor D. Ravinder, sir, to give his message on this Foundation Day.
Good morning to all of you. Respected Wing Commander, Sri Rakesh Sharma ji, Cosmonaut, Ashok Chakra Awardee, eminent and proud alumnus of Osmania University, and today's chief guest. Sri Vinod Kumar Garu, guest of honor, Vice Chairman Telangana State Planning Board, Government of Telangana, suddenly has some urgent work. I think he could not make it, and at any moment, maybe I don't know, but just now we received that message that due to some urgency he could not make it. Professor E. Suresh Kumar Garu, Honorable Commission Member, UGC, New Delhi, and Vice Chancellor, English and Foreign Language University, and proud alumnus of Osmania University, and he served in different capacities for the Osmania University as a registrar and director and so on and so forth. Professor Lakshminarayana, registrar of Osmania University, esteemed members of Executive Council, Professor Mallesh, Dean Development and UGC Affairs, and is also convener of this Taksh program, Osmania Taksh, deans of the faculties, principals of the colleges, directors, heads of the departments, chairpersons, board of studies, and faculty members of all the departments, distinguished alumni, guests, non-teaching staff, research scholars, and students, my dear print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I welcome you for this important Osmania Taksh program. A very good morning to all of you and greetings from Osmania University. I take immense pleasure in welcoming you all to the 106th Foundation Day celebrations of the Osmania University. At the outset, on behalf of Osmania University and on my behalf, I extend a warm welcome to our distinguished chief guest, Ashok Chakra Awardee, Wing Commander Sri Rakesh Sharma ji, research cosmonaut and proud alumnus of Osmania University. Just now he explained about his journey in the space and other contributions to the Indian Indian Space and Defense by our colleague, Professor Patrick. We are privileged to have you, sir, in our midst on this occasion. I wholeheartedly convey my sincere thanks and deep sense of gratitude for accepting to our request to the chief guest for today's program. In fact, we had the opportunity to interact with him with the College of Defense Management on the occasion of the management people, and we went to the College of Defense Management. On that occasion, we requested Rakesh Sharmaji, sir, please come to Osmania University Foundation Day, and then onwards, from the last 6 months which I have been pursuing, and ultimately that day come true today. We are very much thankful to you, sir. We deem it an honor to have Professor Suresh Kumar Garu, Vice Chancellor of English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad, and member UGC, administered on this momentous occasion. I think it's your own university, sir. I think you have served in a different positions, and almost all your college days till today is associated with the Osmania University. I think it's my responsibility to place on record and place before you certain developments which took place in the last one and a half year. And ladies and gentlemen, Osmania University is a beacon light of higher education and also a center of academic excellence. It was established in the year 1917 by Mir Usman Ali Khan, the 7th Nizam of Hyderabad. He was issued the Farmana on 26 April 1917. But somehow I think that's my responsibility to explain to the audience and the chief guest that in the last 104 years, somehow I think it's not taken place, but from the last year onwards, which started the Foundation Day celebration in the Osmania University to remember the contribution of the late, the 7th Nizam of Hyderabad. I think it's our responsibility to communicate the present generation also for the establishment of this great university and dissemination of knowledge. And I take great pride in mentioning about the Osmania University has been accredited with A+ by NAC and Category 1 graded autonomous status by the University Grants Commission, New Delhi. Osmania University is one of the primary institutions of higher learning in the country, dedicated to imparting quality education, disseminating knowledge, enabling substantial research output among a wide base of learners from the different parts of the world. I think it's one of the largest affiliating university in the country, almost more than 700 plus affiliating colleges under the Osmania University, which cater the needs of almost more than 4 lakh students. And at the same time, this university having 12 faculty, 53 departments, 20 research centers, and 300 different UG and PG multi-concept programs which are we offering in the Osmania University. Osmania University has been the favorite destination for students enrolling for higher education in the country, and in particular the state of Telangana. There has been exponential growth in the admissions this year. Particularly, there is a phenomenal increase of girl students in Osmania University. Regarding ranking and achievements, I am delighted to inform this August gathering that the 106-year-old Osmania University has been rated among the top universities in the country, and the world for molding globally competitive products, research forays, publications, vibrant faculty, etc. The Osmania University has secured 22nd rank among the all India universities and the 46th rank in overall ranking category by the NIRF 2022. I wanted to mention about the efforts of our faculty, scholars and students. It's an inclusive approach we have adopted with almost all the senior most professors which we have constituted a committee, and that committee spent almost 2 months to prepare the road Osmania University that popularly institutional development plan for the next year, under that which we call it as a 21-point agenda. Of the 21-point agenda. Even NIRF ranking for the Osmania University was 32. Now, after implementation of this 21-point agenda with the inclusive approach, we got 22nd rank in all India in 2022. That praise goes to all my colleagues and their relentless support and contribution for the research and other activities. And I proudly say that because of these initiatives, the WCRC organization identified Osmania University for the old heritage and academic excellence and awarded for the Asia's Best Brand in Education 2022, which is I had the opportunity to, and they invited me for the House of Lords in United Kingdom. I received this WCRC award on behalf of Osmania University and Osmania University contributions. So the university has always been in forefront in knowledge dissemination and has taken up several academic administrative initiatives, measures. Now I would like to brief upon the recent initiatives. Just now I mentioned about the strategy, and at the same time, the Global Alumni Meet also prepared the film on Osmania University initiatives. Just now everyone, I think, visualized, seen that video that explained almost all our initiatives, but some of them which missed in that I would like to mention here. So this 21-point agenda that known as, which divides into 4 broad categories, that known as the research, teaching and learning methods is the first vertical. The second one is research and innovation practices. Third one is infrastructure facilities. Fourth one is outreach activities. Under these 4 categories, the academic initiatives, I think Osmania University is in the forefront. I think probably the Osmania University is the first university in the state university that implemented from 96 credit policy to 80 credit policy, and in fact the national credit framework, which was under the debate, but whereas Osmania University implemented this 80 credit policy with earlier 5 papers to 4 papers, particularly to move from one university to other university, the multiple entry and multiple exit policy also adopted in the Osmania University to reach the national level institutions. And I think in some point of a time, particularly the national education policy, which I think the best of the best minds went into that and prepared the new education policy, but some of the initiatives in Osmania University is much ahead about the new education policy, like cluster policy, cluster system, which we identified 10 colleges under the Osmania University, the best colleges and the best autonomous colleges. We came together, that colleges, and sharing the knowledge, sharing of the students and faculty under the cluster policy. That is one of the novel programs which we have initiated from the Osmania University. And because of our administrative staff, administrative officers, principals and deans, the streamlined the whole academic calendar, because it's disrupted due to the COVID and post-COVID situations. And I thank all the academic administrators and the affiliated colleges fall in line with the academic calendar streamlined from this academic year onwards. And also, just now I mentioned about that our faculty members, team of the faculty members and myself, we went to UK on invitation from the Wales University, and that Wales University and Osmania University entered into a MOU, and subsequently almost all 3 departments got, 3 research centers got the funding from the Wales University, and particularly to carry out research on world-class based research. And recently I myself and Professor Rajendra Nayak and 10 students invited to Japan under the Shibura Institute of Technology, the 100% the funded by the Shibura Institute of Technology, where the 10 students from science and engineering background visited to Shibura Institute of Technology, and they experienced the technology which used under that. And we also entered into a MOU with this Shibura Institute of Technology, and the director happened to be the alumnus of Osmania University, who spent a lot of money on our team. And I thank on this occasion. And regarding the research and another initiative activities, almost 200 crores which we received from the MHRD, RUSA, DBT, UGC and CSR and so on and so forth. Just now during our discussion with the Rakesh Sharma ji, he inquired about the industry-academia interaction. Third, Osmania University is in the forefront, and we are established the relation between the academy and industry relations. And thanks to UGC, that policy initiated that known as the Professor of Practice. The Osmania University is a state university. I am not talking about the central university, but state university is probably the first university which have adopted the Professor of Practice. And we invited the applications from the CEOs and the industrialists who work the industry a long term, and we would like to appoint the Professor of Practice, that cementing the relation between the academy and industry and internship and so on so forth facilities we would like to working out on those lines. Then even RUSA also, in fact RUSA established the 9 centers in Osmania University, and one component, a component 13 faculty improvement program, which we received 7 crores, which we constructed the HRDC building recently, which was inaugurated that building. And under the component 4, the quality and excellence under the state universities, the 3 centers of excellence under the Ministry of Education, RUSA project, namely the Center for Biodiversity and Conservation Studies, Center for Microbial and Fermentation Technology, and Center for Product Design, Development and Additive Manufacturing Center, have been shortlisted to take forward research collaboration with Bangor University, Aberystwyth University, and Cardiff Metropolitan University of Wales, UK, respectively. And in fact, to encourage our faculty members, which is a very novel program which we have initiated from the last academic year onwards, to encourage our faculty members who produce the good research and publish in a very reputed journal, and we identified them and giving the Vice Chancellor Best Research Award for our faculty members. And even the last time, which was given and invited the IIT Delhi Director, Professor Ram Gopal Garu, who gave this award. On that occasion, he suggested a number of suggestions for the Osmania University for the best practices, and under that, the Osmania Foundation is one which I have created under Section 8 company that I will explain in the later stage. The institutional achievements also, I think I place on record, and I think we should have the Osmania University is the first university after JNU, which have established the Center for Institute of Indo-Pacific Studies, recently which have inaugurated Indo-Pacific Studies, particularly which is connect the need of the hour now. Wherever I go, in even America and Australia and Japan and UK, they are very much interested to work with Osmania University, particularly Indo-Pacific Studies. And the Human Capital Development Center also, which just now is seen. And earlier we have a different centers, different locations, and under one umbrella, which have created Human Capital Development Center for placement and training and internationalization of higher education under the Professor Stevenson, who is the director for that. Under his direction, this Human Capital Development Center is also moving in a positive way and providing lot of placements. I think the first time in the history of Osmania University, almost all 1,600 companies visited on job mela. I think more than 16,000 students got employment under that job mela, under the SCDC. That credit goes to SCDC and their coordinators. Another milestone in the Osmania University for institutional development. So most of the students coming from the rural background and Telugu medium background, for them we would like to inculcate the culture and competitive examination that we established the Civil Services Academy, which was inaugurated by the then Somesh Kumar Garu, former Chief Secretary of State of Telangana, and is also headed by Professor Ganesh, the principal, the Historical College of Arts and Social Sciences. Sir, with our approach and the Engineering College alumni who approached the Coal India Limited, the Coal India Limited very generous, and with the support of Coal India Limited, we revived the mining course in Osmania University, and they sanctioned 3 crores for establishment of the Coal India chair in Osmania University. I think I thank all the alumni of the Engineering College with their relentless support and their consistent persuasion, which we got this CIL chair in Osmania University. Apart from that, Singareni College MD also gave 2 crores for construction of the building. I think the Sridhar Garu, who was the alumnus of Osmania University. I think wherever we go, we are finding the most of the prestigious positions occupied by the Osmania University, the alumni. And the problem is the approach. Whenever we approach the persons and they are ready to extend support to Osmania University and pay back to Osmania University or pay back to society. And just now I think the Osmania TBI is also working, particularly giving utmost importance for the innovation practices. And apart from that, even the administration is also, I think once again I place on record that the Osmania University is in the first university, probably I don't know about the other universities, which have given 50% and more than 50% of the academic strategic positions given to women teachers. Women teachers, chapatlu kottaledu. Yeah. So regarding alumni also, but whereas again I am placed on record that the Osmania University having the alumni only in 3 or 4 departments, very active, engineering college and chemistry and journalism department. But whereas with the support and with the suggestions of the alumni in the America and other, and particularly the local alumni association of the engineering college and other friends also, which we decided to establish a CSR under the Directorate of CSR, the Corporate Social Responsibility, and alumni and branding. Alumni and branding. The recently we have conducted the global alumni meet on January 3rd and 4th. Almost more than 1,000 alumni visited from the US, UK, and other parts of the world, and they promised to support for intellectual support as well as the financial support for the development of this great university. So that Osmania Foundation as the set stone for the overall development under the ITG also, if you have got it, particularly for the advancement and to receive the funds from the different parts of the world. Regarding infrastructure development, I think I place on record that the Osmania University in almost more than 105 years completed. But last 1.5 years, which we have spent almost 130 crores on the infrastructure development, that almost more than 35 to 40 crores which have allocated for the centenary administrative building, which is coming up on the main road of the Uppal Tarnaka, and 2 boys hostels also which have established, and the foundation soon also laid down, and the 60 to 70 crores, and another hostels also will lay down, particularly for the age-old buildings, which under that which are providing lot of infrastructure facilities for our students. And at the same time, the research and the research corpus fund also, which were provided particularly to encourage our young teachers. And here I wanted to announce one important announcement for our faculty members, particularly under departmental assistance. Just now the UGC dean provided that amount, almost 23 lakhs, which we are allocating for all the departments of the 52 departments in the Osmania University. All the heads of the departments, but I request all the heads of the departments, please submit the proposal for your requirement for institutional development, for research development, but not any other purposes. I think I will also compare with the department to department in a competitive basis, and will constitute a committee and examine all the departments' requirements based on that. Minimum 50,000, maximum is also 1 lakh, and other amount also which we would like to provide for all the departments. And university is in forefront for automation and other activities, and I don't want to read out all those things, but the Osmania University almost all which we have taken to reach out the students and the other people, and online education which have given utmost importance. Particularly Osmania University started a TV channel for the students on the online thing. With the support of the Government of India, under the Khelo India project, the synthetic athletic track, swimming pool, tennis court is also very soon which are going to under the utilization, very soon which are going to inaugurate that. And the other initiatives also which have initiated, particularly on the construction of open air auditorium, with one of our alumni, Nagaya, the Osmania University alumni, has come forward to funding the construction of open air auditorium near Tagore Auditorium. Actually, we wanted to conduct this Osmania Taksh program in that open air theatre, but it is not yet completed. It takes 1 more month to complete it. And also we requested the Government of Telangana, and I thank the Government of Telangana, Honorable Chief Minister, for extending all kinds of support, particularly from the last 3 years, last 2.5 years, which we have the budget also enhanced from 114 crores for the Osmania University for all-round development, which have created the oxygen park and to maintain the lush green campus in the Osmania University. And we requested the government of Telangana to create a bypass road from NCC to the NCC to Adikmet and to ease the traffic in the campus, and we would like to convert into a closer campus in the Osmania University. And lot of academic blocks also coming up, and lot of repair work also which have taken up, and particularly the almost 65 to 70% of the girl enrollment in the Osmania University, and in fact which have converted the boys hostel to girls hostel, and we providing the accommodation for the girl students. And with the help of the college, the private college, you supported the 2 buses, and the 2 buses also which are plying in the campus for settling for the free settling for the girl students in the campus. And finally, I think I don't want to take much of your time. Already I have taken more than 20 minutes for explaining. I think it required a lot of time to explain all the initiatives. But anyhow, with this 21-point agenda, we adopted a slogan. What is that slogan? Osmania slogan. Reform, perform, transform. Sir, we have taken this slogan. In fact, I think which have devoted the reform. The first year we have devoted for all the reforms in academic and other activities. And second year which we are performing all the activities. The third year we devoted for the transformation of all the entire the Osmania University. I think that's I think our slogan under reform, perform and transform. That is our slogan, and we move forward. And thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you.
Yeah, Nike has got a punchline. It says, just do it. And our Vice Chancellor says, perform, reform, and transform. And when he says he has taken 20 minutes, let me put it this way. For the past 2 years, in the right sense, he's been a workaholic Vice Chancellor, wherein on an average, every day we have one program or the other across the university. So I don't think 20 minutes would be sufficing enough for him to reveal everything around it. Now it's my turn to invite Professor E. Suresh Kumar, Commission Member, UGC New Delhi, and Vice Chancellor, English and Foreign Languages University, to address with his message.
Wing Commander Dr. Sharmaji, Professor D. Ravinder, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Osmania University, Professor P. Lakshminarayana, Registrar, Osmania University, Professor G. Mallesham, Dean UGC Affairs, distinguished teacher administrators, members of the Executive Council, faculty members, non-teaching staff, students, research scholars, invitees, press and media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all of you. I find that there are so many serious faces here. Today is the birthday of Osmania University. When you come to celebrate birthday, I should find smiling faces. Surprisingly, I find some serious faces here. I'm not going to deliver a serious speech, and you don't have to be serious. It's a great occasion for a wonderful university like Osmania University to celebrate 106th birthday, that is Foundation Day. I congratulate Honorable Vice Chancellor of this great university, Professor D. Ravinder, and all his team members, senior teachers, teacher administrators, non-teaching staff, students, who have been supporting to take this university forward. I was fortunate to study in the same university a few years ago. I was a student of MA English and Arts College from 1986 to 88. I stayed in C hostel and also I stayed in old PG hostel for 2 years. 1 year in C hostel and 1 year in old PG. And I thought I should somehow complete my master's, get into job. If you get into job, you'll get married. That's the incentive. So the main focus was that you should get into some job immediately. What to do to get into a job? First is your degree. Anyway, you will get your degree. And is anyone going to provide you a job if you just show your degree? You say that you're a gold medalist, you got 90%, 95%. Do you think someone will give you a job just because of that? No. It's because of your competency. It's because of your skill set. It's because of your presentation that you will get into a good job, or you might turn out to be an entrepreneur. You might give job to 100 people, 1,000 people, who knows? I appeal to the young students sitting here. Please try to settle down early in your life. Right now, it might look, what's the difference if I settle down in 2023 or 2025 or 2030? It hardly matters. But I'll tell you one thing. You choose one field, teach 100% effort, and try to reach the top. And what will happen if you settle down early in your life? If you get into some job or some profession, you can become a sportsman, you can become an actor, you can become a scientist, you can become a teacher, and you can become a businessman, an entrepreneur, any field. You can choose some field and settle down. And if you start your career early, what happens is you can reach to the top. Otherwise, just before you reach the top, you complete your tenure and you retire. I'll give you an example. For the post of Vice Chancellor, the basic eligibility is that one should have 10 years experience as a professor. I've seen my own friends and colleagues who could have 9 years and 11 months, but they couldn't complete 1 month because they had to retire. They attained the age of 60. Can you visualize the pain of that person? That person may be very close to the government. That person may be in a position to just ask any top level person to provide the position of Vice Chancellor or similar position to someone. He or she has got that capability to influence anyone, but the person is not eligible because he or she couldn't join the job a little early. Late by how many days? Just 1 month. But 1 month can make a lot of difference. Now I tell you, if you settle down in 2023, 2024, I'm talking about years. But just now I told you the example of 1 month, sometimes even 1 day. You will lose something because you fought short of just 1 day. And keeping this in mind, please try to give importance to the time. If you are here with a mission, try to finish that mission, try to settle down early, and whichever the profession you've chosen, you should bring your parents or caretakers or guardians to your own office. I have done that myself. When I was hale and healthy, when my parents were hale and healthy, I became registrar in 2014, and I brought my parents. I made them sit in registrar station. At that point of time, there was no regular Vice Chancellor. So maybe I was de facto Vice Chancellor, whatever you call it, but I was enjoying the powers of a Vice Chancellor. And my parents came, they sat in my chambers, they have seen me working as the head of this Osmania University. In 2017, when I became Vice Chancellor, I took my parents to my office. On the first day of my taking charge, my father came with a bouquet that appeared in the newspapers. What gift can you give more than that kind of excitement to your own parents or guardians? You try to join some profession, reach the top. When your parents are hale and healthy, that's the best gift you can think in terms of giving back to your parents. Give back to your university also. All of us have got plus points. sometimes we also have some negative points. My weak point is, somehow I am not into cricket. For whatever reason, most of you may like cricket, but I don't like cricket. Exactly a year ago, I was in VIP lounge in Hyderabad airport. Mr. MS Dhoni and his team, all of them were in the VIP lounge. Then I just started my conversation. I'm Suresh, Vice Chancellor. Then when I said, Vice Chancellor, he made me stood up. Oh, you are a professor, sir? More than a Vice Chancellor, professor is the highest position for him. You are a professor. When I flashed my business card, Mr. MS Dhoni told me, oh, wonderful, sir. He was sitting in such a polite and humble way with me. The first sentence I told him was, I'm sorry to say that I'm not your fan. Then, he was so happy. Sir, everyone who meets me tells me I'm your fan, I'm mad, I want a selfie with you. So the first time I've seen someone who says I'm not your fan. I told him as a consolation, my wife is your fan, but I am not. Then the conversation went on. He was also flying to Delhi and our flight got delayed by 2 hours. For 2 hours, we had a lot of discussions and so on. I don't know a single word about cricket except the word cricket, but we could converse so well, we became close friends. How is it possible? It's possible when you try to learn something about everything. You don't have to learn everything about everything. It's not possible. Forget about it. Just try to learn something about everything. And then everything about something. Hope I am clear to you. You understand, you are pursuing MA English, but you also know Telugu, you also know astronomy, you also know physics, you also know mathematics. You understand them, the basics. But you are specialized in one particular area. If you are that, then you can converse with anyone. You can make friends with anyone. If you are sitting with a union minister, if you are sitting with a bureaucrat, when you talk to them, they love to talk to you. You should evolve into a lovable personality. That's what I'm trying to say. A lovable personality is the one with whom you would like to meet, with whom you would like to talk, with whom you will never look at what. If you're looking at what, it means that the other person is not able to engage you well. You might have seen so many critics, hypercritics, among our own classmates, among our own colleagues. Can you stop them being critics? No, it's not possible. They will criticize you. What will happen if they criticize you? It's a kind of feedback for you if they criticize you. And when people criticize, you understand that someone is watching you and then you perform better. I'll share one anecdote. One day in an international flight, 2 passengers unknown to each other were traveling. If it were to be a bus or train, usually you talk to someone, where are you from? I'm professor, I'm a lecturer, I'm a student, whatever it is. But if it is an international flight, usually people don't want to talk. Everyone is reserved, especially in business class, no one talks to you. And with great difficulty, even if you say, I'm so-and-so, so what, that kind of attitude will be there. And in that flight, one was a professor of English. And the problem with language teachers is that you try to find fault with everyone. Even while I'm talking, if I make a mistake, someone is curious to make a note. And they resort to elbionics. You know elbow? Elbionics is this. See there, when someone spoke, he made a mistake. Instead of this word, he used that word, something like that. And that professor of English wanted to have some pastime in the flight. And he asked the person sitting next to him, where are you from? That man said, sir, I'm from Prague. Prague. Prague? Do you pronounce it as Prague? You should pronounce it as Prague. It's not Prague, it's Prague. Then quickly this man said, I'm very sorry, sir. English is not my mother tongue, you. Then he said, what? Mother tongue, you? You shouldn't pronounce it as mother tongue, you. You should say mother tongue. Then this man said, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have such technique used to improve English. When he said technique used, he said, why are you pronouncing it as technique used? You should pronounce it as technique. Then this man thought, what all I speak is wrong, and he's correcting me. Then he said, please don't argue with me, ARG. Because who knows, if he says argue, he might say argue is wrong, argue is correct. So then he thought argue is not correct, argue. Don't argue with me. What do you understand from this example? There are people to criticize you. There are people to pull you down. There are people to discourage you. In spite of that, you should try to grow stronger and be active in your curricular activities, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities. And National Education Policy 2020 talks about holistic development, overall development, all-rounded development of students. If you are good at academics, you get 99%. Is it enough? You are not into sports, you are not into games, you are not into fitness, you are not into personality development, you are not into other life skills and soft skills. And when you talk, you don't know how to maintain eye contact, and you are just choose one person and you stick to that person only. If you have those things, but you have a degree with 99%, who will take you? That's the problem. So try to understand the value of holistic development. If you do that, I'm sure sky is the limit for you to develop so soon. And I would like to share one personal experience. When I became a part-time lecturer, my age was 21. I could complete my 10th class at the age of 14 because I studied in Telugu medium. I didn't have LKG or UKG because my father was a police officer. I was given double promotion, not because I was good at studies. And at the age of 14, I was 10th class already, and I joined intermediate. And when I went to my college with shorts, the person told me, no, you should not come with shorts, you should wear trousers. Then I told my mother, you see, it seems I'm not supposed to wear shorts to college. I was so innocent kind of thing. And at the age of 21, when I joined the teaching profession, I was traveling in an RTC bus. I was carrying BSc first year textbook, English textbook, and one more book. I was holding the pipe as a support. Some girls who were also traveling, who belonged to women's college in the close by area, and they were looking at, maybe they might have seen me when I was pursuing my BSc there in the same college. Maybe they were pursuing intermediate. After 2 years, I came back as a lecturer in one degree college. When I was carrying the textbook of BSc first year, degree first year, those girls commented, "Vidiki inka degree purti kalede. 6 అడుగులు ఎత్తేదిగాడు కనిపెట్టి ఇంకా డిగ్రీ పూర్తి కాలేదు." Someone commented like that. But I was already lecturer. They didn't know that I was a lecturer. They thought I was still pursuing BSc first year. And from that, what did I get hurt? Did I feel bad? How is it they are commenting? It's a comment, it's a criticism. They made fun of you. But I thought, happy. That means I'm looking young. At a young age, I have become lecturer. You take the things in a positive way. Within 1 year of doing that job as lecturer, so my classes used to start at 8 a.m. I used to have curd rice by 6 a.m. So maybe because of that, I used to be too lean, lanky and boyish. And within 1 year, I became fat. My trousers became so tight. And I had to go to a tailor. He altered it. He altered the trousers. It was navy blue trousers, I still remember. And all the time, I used to believe in Taksh, insert. And as I was traveling in a local bus, my friend's younger brother was sitting behind, and he said, "Anna, మీ టైలర్ పేరు చెప్పాలన్నా చాలా స్టైలిష్గా ఉంది మీ ట్రౌజర్స్." యాక్చువల్లీ ఇట్ వాజ్ అన్ ఆల్టర్డ్ ట్రౌజర్స్. మీకు వీ షేప్ వస్తుంది ట్రౌజర్స్కి. కలర్ ఏమో లోపలిదేమో డార్క్ కలర్ ఉంటుంది, పైదేమో తగ్గుతుంది కదా, ఒక వీ షేప్ లాగా వస్తుంది. ఆ వీ షేప్ ఉన్నటువంటి ట్రౌజర్స్ వేసుకుంటే మీ టైలర్ ఎవరన్నా భలే బాగా కుట్టిండు, మంచి వెరైటీగా ఉంది, నాకు కూడా చెప్పన్నా. ఈ కామెంటెడ్. నాకు కోపం రాలేదు. నాకు అనిపించింది, మై ఫాదర్ వాజ్ ఎ పోలీస్ ఆఫీసర్, వాజ్ ఆల్రెడీ లెక్చరర్. కొనుక్కోవాలంటే కొనుక్కోవచ్చు, కానీ ఏముంది, ఏదో మిడిల్ క్లాస్ థింకింగ్. let's save some money, let's think of buying. I used to have Enfield, Royal Enfield those days, but దానికి పెట్రోల్ పోయాలి కదా, డబ్బులు కావాలి కదా. సో మనకు చాలా బాధలు ఉంటాయి కదా, మీరు యూత్కి మీకు బాగా తెలుస్తుంది, మాకు తెలియదు ఇప్పుడు. అయితే I did not take it in a negative way. I took it in a positive way. And I thought I should reach the top. One day, ఇప్పుడు నేను చేరింది టీచింగ్ ప్రొఫెషన్ కదా, టీచింగ్ ప్రొఫెషన్లో హయ్యెస్ట్ పోస్ట్ ఏంటి అని ఒకరిని అడిగాను. ప్రొఫెసర్ నవనీత్ రావు వాజ్ ది వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్. ఒకళ్ళు చెప్పారు, ప్రొఫెసర్ నవనీత్ రావు హైదరాబాద్లో ఉంటారు, ఉస్మాన్ యూనివర్సిటీలో, మంచి సూట్లు బూట్లు వేసుకొని భలే అందంగా ఉంటారైనా, అది హయ్యెస్ట్ పోస్ట్ అని చెప్పారు. దెన్ ఐ జాయిన్ మాస్టర్స్ హియర్. It was not possible to meet vice chancellor just like that those days. ఏదో ఆ కాంటెస్ట్ కార్లో ఒక ఫ్లాష్ కనబడేది, ప్రొఫెసర్ నవనీత్లో వెళ్ళడం, ఓ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ అంటే ఇట్లా ఉంటుందన్నమాట, మనం కూడా ఇట్లా కావాలి ఎప్పటికైనా అని. ఐ స్టార్టెడ్ వర్కింగ్ టువర్డ్స్ దాట్. ఇట్స్ నాట్ దాట్ యూ డూ సమ్ మిస్చిఫ్, యూ డూ సమ్ మ్యానిపులేషన్, దట్స్ రాంగ్. పీపుల్ థింక్ ఇన్ ఎ రాంగ్ వే. నీకు ఏదైనా పొజిషన్ రాగానే ఏదో మేనేజ్ చేస్తుంటాలే, మస్తు ఐ నో అవుతానే వస్తుందా, ఏదో చేస్తుంటాలే, దే స్పీక్ లైక్ దాట్. బట్ డోంట్ గెట్ డిజార్టెండ్. ఎప్పుడు కూడా మీరు అది అవ్వకూడదు. ఎప్పుడైతే క్రిటిసైజ్ చేస్తారో దాని నుంచి యూ ట్రై టు బిల్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ దేర్. యువర్ రైవల్స్ విల్ డ్రైవ్ యూ టు సక్సెస్. మీరు అది నేర్చుకోవాలి. మనకి ఎవరన్నా మన వెనుకల చేజ్ చేస్తున్నారంటే, వెన్ ఐ వాజ్ హెడింగ్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇంగ్లీష్, ఐల్ జస్ట్ గివ్ వన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. వెన్ ఐ వాజ్ హెడింగ్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇంగ్లీష్, సమ్వన్ కేమ్ టు మీ అండ్ సెడ్, సార్ మీ మీద ఒక పెద్ద ప్యాంఫ్లెట్ రాయమని, కరపత్రం రాయమని ఒక చెప్పారు సార్, చాలా పాయింట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, బట్ రాయాలనుకుంటున్నానని వచ్చారు. అయ్యో ఎందుకు రాయాలనుకుంటున్నాను అన్నా. చాలా పాయింట్స్ ఉన్నాయి మీ మీద, మీరు రాస్తే మీ కథ మీద మీ ఉద్యోగం పోతుందో చెప్పింది. ఏం పాయింట్స్ చెప్పరా, నాకు కూడా వినాలని ఉంది, చెప్పు, 3 పాయింట్స్ మేజర్ చెప్పు, నాకు కూడా క్యూరియస్గా ఉంది, అది ఏంటో తెలుసుకోవాలని. ఒక 3 పాయింట్స్ చెప్పాడు. చాలా బాగున్నాయి, వండర్ఫుల్గా ఉంది, మరి ఏం చేద్దామన్నాను. మీరు నాకు ఇంత డబ్బులు ఇచ్చినట్టయితే నేను ప్యాంఫ్లెట్ రాయను సార్ అన్నాడు. అతను చెప్పిన ఫిగర్ 3,000. 3,000 ఇస్తే మీ మీద ప్యాంఫ్లెట్ రాయను సార్, నేను 30,000 ఇస్తా, పుస్తకం రాయి. 3 కాదు 30,000 నేను ఇస్తా, పుస్తకం రాయి నా మీద, నన్నే బుక్ రివ్యూ పిలువు. ఐ టోల్డ్ దెమ్. తర్వాత అతనంటే, ఏం సార్ మీకు భయం లేదు, ఏం భయం, నువ్వు ఎట్లా కహానీ రాస్తావు కదా, కహానీ 1 పేజ్ రాసే బదులు 100 పేజ్ రాయి, పబ్లిష్ చెయ్యి, సోషల్ మీడియాలో పెట్టి, ఏమవుతుంది, క్యా ఫరక్ పడతా, ఐ నో వాట్ ఐ యామ్ అని మీరు చెప్పడం, ఆ గట్స్ నేర్చుకోండి. ట్రై టు ఫైట్ బ్యాక్. చాలామంది ఎట్లా అంటే, చిన్న ప్రాబ్లం రాగానే, అబ్బా సూసైడ్ చేసుకోవాలా, లేదా ఇది చేయాలా, అది చేయాలా, లేకపోతే నేను వెళ్ళిపోవాలన్నా, ఇది వదిలిపెట్టాలన్నా, నేను అలుగుతా, నేను మాట్లాడాను, నేను ఇది చేస్తా, అది చేస్తా. డోంట్ గెట్ అఫెండెడ్. లైఫ్లో ఎప్పుడు కూడా బెడ్ ఆఫ్ రోజెస్ ఉండదు, ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వస్తాయి. యు బీ రెడీ టు ఫేస్ దెమ్. ఎప్పుడు కూడా నేను తెలుగు మీడియంలో చదువుకున్నాను, నేను గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్లో చదువుకున్నాను, మా పేరెంట్స్ పేదవాళ్ళు, ఆ మాటలు ఎప్పుడు కూడా మీ మనసులోకి రానియద్దు. నేను గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్స్లో తెలుగు మీడియంలో నేను చదువుకున్నాను, వరంగల్లో, ఖమ్మంలో. డిగ్రీ సైన్సెస్లో బాటనీ, జువాలజీ, కెమిస్ట్రీతో బీఎస్సీ పాస్ అయ్యాను. నేను చేయాలనుకున్న ఎంఎస్సీ కెమిస్ట్రీ, చేరింది ఎంఏ ఇంగ్లీష్. అట్నుంచి ఇంగ్లీష్ అండ్ ఫారిన్ లాంగ్వేజ్ యూనివర్సిటీ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ ఉన్నాను. తెలుగు మీడియం బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఏంటి, ఇంగ్లీష్ అండ్ ఫారిన్ లాంగ్వేజ్ యూనివర్సిటీ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ ఏంటి? ఒక తెలుగువాడు, తెలుగు మీడియం చదివిన వాడు ఒక సెంట్రల్ యూనివర్సిటీలో వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్గా మీరు వెళ్ళాలంటే, అది కూడా డెడికేటెడ్ టు ఇంగ్లీష్ అండ్ ఫారిన్ లాంగ్వేజ్, యూ నీడ్ దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ట్రైనింగ్. హౌ టు టేక్ లైఫ్ యాజ్ ఎ ఛాలెంజ్. అండ్ వన్ అడ్వైస్ టు ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ. చాలామంది మనం మదర్ టంగ్ మాట్లాడి సిగ్గుపడుతుంటాం. ఎవరైనా రాగానే హిందీ పేపర్ పట్టుకొని చదువుతున్నట్టు, లేదా ఎవరైనా రాగానే ఇంగ్లీష్ మాట్లాడుతుంది. అవసరం లేదు అట్లా. వాట్ ఎవర్ ద లాంగ్వేజ్ యూ స్పీక్, చాలా గర్వంగా మీ మదర్ టంగ్ మాట్లాడండి. ఫస్ట్ ట్రై టు బికమ్ అన్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ ఇన్ యువర్ లాంగ్వేజ్. ఎక్స్పర్ట్ అంటే తెలుగు పండిట్లాగా అంతా కాదు, మీరు మాట్లాడేది అవతల వాళ్ళు మంచిగా ఎంజాయ్ చేసే విధంగా ఫస్ట్ మీ మదర్ టంగ్, అంటే ఇక్కడ తెలుగు అనుకున్నాం. నెక్స్ట్ హిందీ కూడా నేర్చుకోండి. ఇప్పుడు నేను సెంట్రల్ యూనివర్సిటీ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ అవుతా నేను ఎప్పుడు అనుకోలేదు. ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ ప్రొఫెసర్ అంటే ఉస్మానియా వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ చాలనుకొని అక్కడికే ఆగుతుంది జనరల్లీ. అక్కడికి అయిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ ఎక్కడ పోవాలని నెక్స్ట్ తెలియదు. అటువంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో సరే ఏదో నోటిఫికేషన్ వచ్చింది, అప్లికేషన్ వచ్చింది, అది వేరే సంగతి. హిందీ భాష, ఐ హ్యాడ్ ది ఆపర్చునిటీ ఆఫ్ స్టడీయింగ్ ఇన్ కాన్పూర్ యూనివర్సిటీ, ఉత్తరప్రదేశ్. నా గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ కాగానే ఫస్ట్ నేను వెళ్ళింది కాన్పూర్కి, ఉత్తరప్రదేశ్. At the age of 19, so when you go with a suitcase to a place where Telugu is not spoken, అప్పటికి మన తెలంగాణలో కొంచెం ఉర్దూ టైప్ ఆఫ్ హిందీ మాట్లాడేవాళ్ళం. కాయకు క్యావతా హూ హా దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఈ స్పోకెన్ హియర్. మీరు ఉత్తరప్రదేశ్కి వెళ్తే ఇట్స్ డిఫరెంట్ లాంగ్వేజ్, డిఫరెంట్ హిందీ, హిందీ మాట్లాడతారు. అక్కడ లోకల్ వాళ్ళతో కలిసి మాట్లాడటం ఎప్పుడైతే మొదలుపెట్టానో అక్కడ లోకల్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, మన తెలుగు వాళ్ళంతా ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఒక గ్రూప్ ఉంటారు, ఒక 200 మంది ఒకే చోట వెళ్తూ ఉంటారు. వెళ్ళినప్పుడు స్టార్టింగ్ నన్ను ఏం చేసేవాళ్ళంటే, సురేష్ నువ్వు వెళ్ళి నువ్వు మాట్లాడు, ఏదైనా మాట్లాడాలి, మెస్ మాట్లాడాలి, ఇలా ఫీజు గురించి మాట్లాడేది ఒకటి సంథింగ్. దే యూస్ టు పుష్ మీ ఫార్వర్డ్. ఆ పుషింగ్ ఫార్వర్డ్ తోటి వీ కుడ్ అక్వైర్ సమ్ స్కిల్స్. వాట్ ఐఎమ్ ట్రయింగ్ టు టెల్ యూ ఈజ్, ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఎ సాంగ్ ఆఫ్ మై సెల్ఫ్. I'm trying to give my own examples because you will understand that a student who studied just like you in the same university, who has gone to North, who is into central government, who also worked in state, ఎలా ఇన్ని డిఫరెంట్ ప్లేస్ అంటే సింపుల్ టెక్నిక్ చెప్తున్నాను మీకు, అది పెద్ద సీక్రెట్ ఏం కాదు. ట్రై టు లెర్న్ యువర్ ఓన్ మదర్ టంగ్, దెన్ ఆల్సో లెర్న్ హిందీ అండ్ బికమ్ ప్రొఫిషియంట్ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అండ్ ట్రై టు లెర్న్ ఎనీ వన్ ఫారిన్ లాంగ్వేజ్. మీరు ఈ 4 చేసినట్టు మీ పర్సనాలిటీ మారుతుంది, మీ టెంపరామెంట్ మారుతుంది, సాల్వింగ్ స్కిల్స్ పెరుగుతాయి, లేటరల్ థింకింగ్ పెరుగుతుంది. యూ విల్ బీ ఏ గ్లోబల్ సిటిజన్. మీరు అల్టిమేట్ ఏమేంటంటే గ్లోబల్ సిటిజన్. మీరు అమెరికాకి వెళ్తే డైరెక్ట్లీ యాక్సెప్టబుల్ ఉండాలి, జస్ట్ లైక్ దాట్. మళ్ళీ అక్కడికి వెళ్ళాక మళ్ళీ ఏ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్లో చేరాలి, ఏం నేర్చుకోవాలనేది ఉండకూడదు. ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ డూ దాట్, స్కై ఈజ్ ద లిమిట్ ఫర్ యూ. అండ్ ఇట్స్ అ గ్రేట్ ఆపర్చునిటీ దట్ ఐ కుడ్ గెట్ టుడే to interact with all the students and faculty members and my old friends. So many of you are sitting here. Wish you all the best. I thank Professor D. Ravindra Garu for inviting me to be a part of this program. I also thank all others who could think of me as one of the guests. So మీరు చదువుకున్న ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్లో మీరు ఒక గెస్ట్గా రావడం అంటే ఇది ఒక మహాభాగ్యం. అయితే ఆఖరిగా ఒకటి చెప్తున్నాను, చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్, నాలెడ్జ్ అండ్ స్కిల్స్. మీరు నాలెడ్జ్తో పాటు స్కిల్స్ కూడా బాగా ఫోకస్ చేయండి. ఇట్ కుడ్ బి ఎనీ స్కిల్. మీరు హైలీ స్కిల్డ్ అని చెప్పించుకునే విధంగా డెవలప్ కండి. దెన్ స్కై ఇస్ ద లిమిట్ ఫర్ యూ. విష్ ఆల్ ద బెస్ట్. గాడ్ బ్లెస్ యూ. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we have seen a glimpse of your soft skill training that you regularly do across the globe there. Even I used to wonder why GUNTUR is not Guntur but Guntur. And thank you so much, sir, for giving us that insights of settling early and learning how to tackle with criticism. Sir said we don't have to be very serious. We have come to celebrate the birthday. Before I invite Rakesh Sharma, sir, I was sharing this joke with Ramesh sir and Srinivas sir recently that anyone would guess as to what is the similarity between an astronaut and a boxer? The similarity between an astronaut and a boxer. Both see stars. Okay. Now I would have, I think many are tube lights like me there. You get punched, you see stars, right? So can I have the most famous astronaut of our country there, one and only Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma sir, to deliver his message. We're all eagerly waiting for it. So that's a great ovation to you, sir. Please. May I request all the dignitaries to occupy the chairs in the front row so that we can get a real feel of the message from the most humble and wonderful person, Rakesh Sharma ji.
I have a feeling that we are running a bit behind time. So the subject being what it is, I will try and take you on a journey at a slightly higher speed. I will take you on a journey in a Vande Bharat kind of way, and I will dispense with the pleasantries, with your permission, the dignitaries who were here on the stage. However, I wish to acknowledge the presence of the faculty as well as the students. Really, tomorrow belongs to the generation which is sitting there. And Professor Suresh, of course, has given you a lot of advice, and I would like to, of course, add a little bit to that as a part of my presentation. I was informed that the audience would be very keen to know about space, so I cannot really dispense with that part of the presentation. I have put together a few slides which will explain to you why and how the training is done, and that will give you a sense of the challenges which meet anybody who travels into space. But the disclaimer is that it's almost 40 years, and just like technology gallops, a lot has changed today. The more data you collect, the easier it becomes for people to evaluate that the selection processes must also ease out, because now you have more data points, and therefore one can dispense with doubts which were there initially. Instead of waiting for the Q&A session, I happen to know what is the first question you are going to be asking. And I am sure that that question is, how did I go from there to there? And I want to assure you that it's not a style statement. This proves what happens with the passage of time. So, I wish to acquaint you with this subject, which is Gaganyaan. Can I have that handheld mic here? Is it on? Yeah. Check one. Check. Can you hear me? Right. Yeah. Okay. Why I have said that I'll acquaint you with Gaganyaan, because that is a project which is going to happen next year, and the difference between that project and my flight was significant and very important. And that is, when I went up in 1984, sure, I was an Indian, but I went up in a technology that did not belong to India. When Gaganyaan goes up, the astronauts who are going to go up in Gaganyaan will be trained in India, except for the initial part, and they will be riding on a vehicle which has been developed by the Indian Space Research Organization. They will be, it's something to be proud of. They will be launched from an Indian spaceport, and they will be carrying out experiments by Indian scientists. So let us get on with it and talk about space flight, the how and the why of space flight. The training for Gaganyaan is what I'm going to be covering, and I will be focusing on the how and the why of it, trying to explain why a certain training is carried out and the reason for it. And beyond Gaganyaan, what should be the future of space exploration, the way we are going? So, very first slide is this. This is called a centrifuge. Please understand that the spacecraft has to be accelerated from a zero velocity to around 7.5 kilometers per second
and it reaches that altitude, which is the orbital height, in precisely 528 seconds. So the acceleration during the ascent phase is extremely high, and the astronauts are made to lie on their backs because the fluid, the blood, shifts from top to bottom, and if you're sitting, then the blood will shift from the head to the toe, and you will experience a phenomenon called gray out. And if that condition is allowed to persist, then you lose consciousness. It's called a blackout. So this centrifuge is where we practice being taken from 0 times the force of gravity to about 8 times the force of gravity. In a normal ascent, in a normal launch, you're not going to be experiencing more than 4 times the force of gravity. Now, the physical explanation for an increase in the force of gravity is that if you are weighing 60 kilos, then at 4 times the force of gravity during the acceleration, you will be weighing 240 kilos, 4 times. And therefore your arm will also weigh 4 times more, and everything becomes difficult. So in this contraption, the centrifuge, which is really anchored at that pivot point, the entire the capsule, which is at the end of it, keeps going round and round, and the faster it goes, the more the force of gravity increases. And this is what trains you. So the problem with 4G is that you are under that condition for a long period of time, and because you're lying on your back, that force is acting from your chest to your spine. And when that happens, the chest, the rib cage presses against the spine and does not leave any place for the lungs to expand. So breathing becomes difficult. So you've got to unlearn your normal kind of breathing. You've got to expand your chest, lock the pectoral muscles in place, create that space so that the lungs can expand. So that is why this part of the training was required. This is the vestibular training. What you see is Ravish Malhotra on the right, and we used to call this room as the torture chamber, and the training involves the person being trained to be sitting on a chair which rotates around its axis, and while the chair is going round and round, the trainee is supposed to move his head forward to back, side to side, and left to right. This is required because in zero gravity, the weight is not felt on your legs. Therefore, you cannot maintain your local vertical. I cannot stand like this. By the way, I want to thank somebody for putting this stool here, because otherwise you wouldn't have probably seen me being a short guy. You would wonder why the voice is coming from space. So this goes round and round, and you start feeling sick because your semicircular canals, which basically tell you about your balance, they go out of sync, and the fluid inside is going forward and back all the time because you are not standing straight. You cannot fall in space. There is no roof. There is no floor. Gravity is not there. So you are just floating all the while, and therefore your head movements are more than they are on Earth. So that is one. And just when, and you're all wired up, so you cannot pretend. So they keep asking, are you feeling all right? And even if you give a thumbs up, it doesn't mean a thing, because your medical parameters are going all haywire, and the doctors know that you're not feeling that good. So this is that part of the training. It's called vestibular training. And the other thing that happens in zero gravity, again, because there's no gravity. On Earth, the heart is pumping blood to the head against the force of gravity. So it is pumping it at a higher pressure so that it reaches the brain at the proper pressure. Similarly, the blood which is towards your feet has to return back to the heart against gravity. Therefore, the heart, the pressure at which the heart is pumping must get the blood back to the heart. Otherwise, there's going to be a starvation of this fluid, and the hemodynamic pressure is going to keep falling down. So this is the training. Before you go into space, they condition your system to get used to excess blood. Why? Because when you go into orbit, nobody has told the heart that you have changed your location. So the heart continues to pump at the original rate. Result, there's too much of blood going to the head. So your face swells up, your tongue swells up, your semicircular canals in the ear get gorged with blood and they become oversensitive. And so your head movements, if you hadn't done the vestibular chairs, then you would start feeling sick much earlier than normal, which is called space sickness. So over here, they put the table head down so that the body gets used to handling extra blood in the head. And therefore, now what happens in space is that our human body is, of course, a wonderful organism. So there are pressure receptors at the base of the neck, and that sends a signal to the heart, which says, listen, you're pumping too much of blood to the head. So the heart slows down, the heart rate drops, the pressure drops. So you come to a new normal, which makes you productive and feel okay. That is called adaptation to zero gravity. You can't really replicate zero gravity on Earth because of the presence of gravity. The best you can do is to take the guy in an aircraft and make the aircraft follow the Keplerian curve, and while the aircraft is pushing its nose forward, conditions of zero gravity exist within the aircraft for not more than 20 seconds. So it just gives you a sense of what to expect in space. Simulator training. Here you are seeing the guys, the three guys sitting. You can call them faculty members, and the crew is through the window. If you can see a capsule, the crew is inside there, and you're practicing the procedures for launch, for docking with the laboratory, for undocking, for return back to Earth. And the faculty merrily press these red buttons on the right side and give you emergencies, like they'll put smoke into the capsule, and then on the bank of TV screens on top, they assess and evaluate how and when, after how long has the crew realized that there is an emergency, and then how does the crew collaborate with each other to find a solution to that kind of an emergency. So that's all part of the training. So this is the simulator session. I had already told you that during launch, as well as during re-entry, you're going to be experiencing high gravity forces. One is during the ascent, you go to experience about 4G. When you're returning, you experience about 3.5 G for long periods of time. Now, if your seat is not comfortable, then you're going to develop painful extremities. So each seat which is put in the spacecraft is customized to the bodily contours of that particular occupant. So here we are, before the launch, inspecting the seats which have been allotted to us. And before that, the measurements were taken and templates made out of gypsum, which then the spongy layer is put on top of it. Then the launcher, those block of 4 exhausts, there are 5 lots of that. They constitute the first and the second stage of the rocket. It is moved to the launch pad on a railway carriage. And once it reaches the launch pad, it is erected. And right on top where the needle is, just below that, the crew sits down. And this whole entire contraption is about 13 stories high. And the point to note is that you don't have any windows because you do not want to create extra drag and make it difficult for the engines to fight against gravity with extra drag. So it is a smooth thing. All you feel inside during launch is a whole lot of vibration and the sound which is coming from the engines which are firing away 13 stories below you. So this is how it stands on the launch pad, and this is the launch. So a lot of fury and engines going full blast, and after a while, this is what happens, and your velocity keeps increasing. As the velocity increasing, you get pushed deeper and deeper into the seat, and the load on your chest becomes high, but you trained for that in the centrifuge, which is that first slide I showed you. And it carries on like this, and somewhere around here, you're at about 4 times the force of gravity, and after that, you reach orbit. And like everybody else, the first thing you look at is how does your country look from Earth's orbit. And as you can see, India looks just beautiful from orbit. Why does it look good? Because our country has got a long coastline. If I can go back and show it to you. And there is a color contrast. Then look at the greenery which is in the Ghat section, both east and west. Go up there, then you come to the Deccan Plateau, which looks brownish. Go further up, again the Gangetic Plain, which looks green, lush green from space. On the left side is, of course, the deserts of Rajasthan, which look golden from there. Go further north, and the Himalayan ranges look purple from space. So our country has got all kinds of textures, all kinds of colors, and it really looks very good from space. So once you are in orbit, you need to transfer into the laboratory. So this shows you the capsule in which we had launched is approaching the laboratory. The shot has been taken from inside the laboratory, and it goes and couples with the laboratory, and then the hatches open inward, and it forms a tunnel through which we fly in to the laboratory to carry out your experiment. This is how life is lived in space. Like I have told you, there is no roof, there is no floor. You're having dinner, whether you are right side up or upside down, it doesn't make a difference, except that you've got to hold everything, and if you want to place it down on the table, don't do that, put it under an elastic strap, otherwise you find your dinner flying away from you. This is the view from space. You can see the solar panel which generates electricity while you're in orbit. And one of the most enduring sights from space is what you see here. Suddenly the solar panel becomes golden against the black background. By the way, the sky is black because you're flying above the atmospheric layer. And then, while you're still watching it, within a few seconds, the edge of the Earth gets backlit because the sun is about to rise from behind, and you see a blue arc like that, and then suddenly, like a diamond, is the sunrise, and it comes in as a flash of light first, and while you're still watching, in another few seconds, this is sunrise, and it's the most beautiful sight in space when you watch a sunrise. If you missed it, if you were busy doing something, you just wait for 45 minutes. The same scene happens in reverse, and you get to see a sunset. 45 minutes later, the sunrise is repeated, because it takes 90 minutes to go around the earth, and in a day, you watch 17 sunrises and 17 sunsets. 8 days, finished our experiments, moved the data back into the space capsule in which we had gone, undocked from the laboratory, and started returning back to Earth. Here the parachute opens, the black dot below is the capsule in which you're coming back, 3 guys sitting inside. The capsule is black because it is charred. The heat of re-entry has, the capsule is enveloped in flames, but at about 30,000 feet, it is slow enough for the parachute to open, and from there onwards, the next lot is, as it nears the Earth, a meter or so before it touches ground, retro rockets fire to cushion your landing. And the size of this parachute is 1,000 square meters. It's huge. So with this, I come to the end of the segment, which is about training, about space. The Gaganyaan guys will be probably not doing as detailed training because of the build-up of data, like I had referred to earlier. And the future of space exploration is basically what is going to be the drivers in the coming years. It is the urge to explore. Everybody asked Edmund Hillary, why did you climb Mount Everest? He said, because it's there. And that is what is written in the DNA of humans, that if there is something worth discovering, if there's something out there you don't know enough about, you will ultimately go there, which is why we are getting ready to set up colonies on the moon first and Mars thereafter. So there is this urge to explore, and also the way we are doing a great job in destroying the environment and spending the limited resources of planet Earth, and that is point one. So we need a backup plan, and tomorrow we have no defenses against an asteroid which will come and crash against the Earth, and the dinosaurs got extinct because of that. So the human genome has no backup on a location other than Earth. So these are the two things which will drive future of space exploration. And we also need resources because we are not going to abandon capitalism. We are going to continue profit. We are going to continue working for quarter-on-quarter growth. Nobody is bothering about what are we spending to get that extra money which we cannot take with us anyway after our life is done. So that is what is going to fuel the global economy. And as I had mentioned earlier, the degradation of planet Earth does require us to find a new place. Unfortunately, only the very rich will be given a chance to relocate to a new place. And survivability itself, I had mentioned that about the asteroid. So what has been the learning thus far from this experience? And this is where I would like to share my personal learning, because a lot of you are on the cusp of starting a new career, and you must know, and if you, the Dean's speech has shown you that all big institutions, and Osmania is one of them, is always built on the shoulders of giants, intellectual giants. And please understand that just The giants are not enough, the visionaries are not enough. It's the team which has to get together. So don't be shy. I don't wish each of you to aspire for the top job. It's equally important to be an effective team player. You see, an astronaut is the most visible bit of a space flight. But it's a pyramid which has an extremely wide base. So let us acknowledge all those guys whose effort has gone into making that space flight successful. So being a good team member is as important as having somebody who has a vision, as having somebody who translates that vision into action. But also we need a whole heap of people who contribute to the attainment of the results as envisioned by that visionary. So how does that happen? I think every opportunity, and there are a lot of opportunities now that will come your way, please grab it, because mostly what happens is that all of us are so circumspect. We feel it's a cultural problem we have. We feel, oh my God, this is just too complex because this technology is coming from the West. No, it is not. You may think it is very complex, but when you actually get into it and start dealing with it, you find it is not half as difficult as you imagined it to be. So don't let that intimidate you, because of which you don't. So there are a lot of fence sitters. I used to be one. And, when you actually jump into the deep end, you realize that you know how to swim. And don't be afraid of failure, really. Absolutely not. The surest recipe for success is to which is high. Identify with what is really required and don't end it with your personal achievement, is what I believe in. And I think the way to reach there is to be authentic, to let go of thinking who we want to be or appear to be, and better it is to reconcile ourselves to who we actually are, so that we don't have to really play any part except the part that is ourselves. So planet Earth, when it is viewed from space, everything is interconnected, and it gives new meaning to the phrase which is found in the Maha Upanishad, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Indeed, the whole world is one family, because our common origin will ultimately get for us a common destiny. Because if you're going to survive planet degradation, if you're going to survive an asteroid hit, all of us are equally at risk. So if our destiny is common and our origin is common, I think we really need to work together to make sure that things are better. And I believe that I've been privileged to have been born and brought up into this inclusive culture, which is our culture. It has always motivated me to raise myself to remain worthy of it. Makes it that much easier, because you have chosen a purpose higher than yourself. Jai Hind. And I am now ready for Q&A, provided we have the time. My time is till 1 o'clock. I know we're running behind time, but I didn't want to take shortcuts and deny the audience about how space exploration is done. So I'm ready for questions. Sorry? Okay.
I think we need to put our hands together to applaud the wonderful, inspirational message that we received about space. And we talk about Elon Musk and everything. We have our own man here. And another thing, there was Kalpana Chawla, Sunita Williams, Ravish Malhotra, but this is the man who was the inspiration behind all of them. And one thing I was reading is there were 150 pilots who were fit to make it to this mission there, but you have seen the arduous test that he has undergone. The probability was 1 in 150, and this was the person who made it to the space there. And for some time, I thought our Tagore Auditorium looked more like a Birla Planetarium with all the visuals you showed us, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It's surely a remarkable day in the history of Osmania University. Now, it's time for me to invite members from the Department of Astronomy, Dr. Shanti Priya, Dr. Rukmani, Dr. Chinna Reddy, and Dr. Sriram. They would engage us for a short Q&A. They were selected a few students from the engineering. I asked them to sit in the second or third row. May I request the dignitaries to kindly take their seats? And it's all over. I mean, I'll just put one word for Shanti Priya, ma'am. She was all in the news recently when she and her students were able to identify a comet which appears once in 20,000 years. It's all here. Shanti Priya, ma'am.
I'll just take a few moments before we go on to the session. Space remains always a passion, fascination for everyone sitting here, irrespective of their age or education or anything. So here we are with a great man sitting, and I would like to share a small experience. Today early morning, I had a moment with his mother wherein I thought of giving the credit as a mother to her, but she told that I have left everything to God, and it was my kids who have achieved their dreams. I have just given them some freedom to achieve their goals. So here we see a person who has achieved his goals. And sir, people say that sky is a limit, and there is a saying that don't say sky is a limit because our footprints are there on the moon. So sir, here our young minds are waiting to interact with you. We have gathered few questions, and I request Dr. Sriram to pose you few questions, and if you allow, there will be few people who will be asking you questions from audience.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a fan moment for me, sir, because I saw you in textbooks when I was in 7th and 8th class. I never dreamed that I will be meeting you and interacting you. I'd like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Professor Ravinder. I would like to thank our Registrar Lakshmi Narayan and Dean, Sir Mallesham, sir, that you could convince him, and he's here with us, and it's a great moment for us. Sir, your achievements are forever etched in our textbooks and in our hearts, sir. We are not going to forget this moment. Thank you very much. So, hello. Yeah. So this is one of the questions we received actually from our registrar, that you indulged in yoga in the space during that time, performed some yoga. So you became the first person in space to do yoga, if I'm right. So what was your experience at that time?
Let me give you a short background to that. What has happened is that, well, I'm talking of 40 years ago, there was always this problem of people unable to adapt to zero gravity. The problem was of space sickness, and I explained the reasons for space sickness. Now, the point is that they were trying to find out newer and newer methods of preparing space crew so that they are not vulnerable for space sickness. And that's the reason, because it's such an expensive activity that if you spend so many thousands or millions of dollars to put a crew in space, and if they land up there and get space sickness and are unable to, deliver what they were required to do, then it's a bit of a waste. So they said, let's find out if yoga gives you a better methodology to prepare space crews for space flight. So about 3 months before the actual launch, I stopped training as per the Russian system, and I did only yoga. So naturally the question that arises is,
did you have any problems facing to zero gravity? So my answer to that is no, I did not. The next question, does that mean yoga is a better alternative? I don't know, because if you collect all the data, there are a lot of individuals who did not feel space sickness. It's like in the aeroplane. Not everybody gets air sick. So maybe I was one of those guys who would not have got space sick at all. So the
So this is the next question from Professor Naveen, Director Infrastructure. What are the 4 challenges for humans in space and also in terms of technology at that time, you were in space and in this current era?
Well, I think the challenges are not so much technological. It is the evaluation of what you are going to get from expending those humongous amount of dollars and money. What are you going to get out of it? If the idea, of course, like I said, we must have one alternate place where we can, have our genome safely ensconced. But it's a very, very difficult. You have to replicate. The human body is not used to living in an environment which is so hostile. There's a vacuum there, there's radiation there. So our human body, so we have to replicate and create a bubble of an environment. And whoever goes there will have to be inside that bubble and do the work. It's going to be a bit like Antarctica. Of course, you can come out of the laboratory which you have in Antarctica and you can still be alive. But once you're out of that bubble, you're finished. So there is the human problem about the lack of social interaction. And so there is the claustrophobia of staying in a confined space. And of course, we are going to be multicultural crews who are going to, but technologically, we can go and settle.
Thank you, sir. And next question is from Professor Vivekananda Rao. He is from our department, retired. So his question was, where does India stand now in terms of human space exploration with respect to Western technology?
Well, I think all of us have to be justifiably proud of what ISRO has done. We have stayed away from competing with developed economies. What we have done is that we have developed our own technology. We've very frugally developed space technologies, and we have focused not on competition but on using space for the benefit of our people. So the socio-economic benefits of space technology have filtered down to our economy, to our people who are in far-flung areas. We've got tele-education, telemedicine, and telecommunication. And all our lives have been impacted by space technology as developed and given to us by ISRO, rather than flag waving and trying to compete with other countries and aping what they have done. We've got our own program, and we have had our own aims, and we have achieved them, and it's only now we are getting into deep space exploration.
Thank you very much. So now, anybody from students? Students?
The black hole. Can't see anybody. Right.
Ask your question.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi.
Hello. My name is Madhumita Parsi. I am from MBA Technology Management Department. Greetings from my dad as well. He was in the morning when he was telling how he used to listen to your FM with Indira Gandhi. So it's, Indian dads, they usually never ask anything to their daughters, but this is the first thing he asked me to say greetings to Rakesh Sharma and how he used to be a fanboy of you all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Please do convey my thanks
Yes, sir.
to your
Sure.
father.
Yeah. Also, I am from MBA Management now, MBA Technology Management now. But in my graduation, I took Electronics and Communication as my branch, which is considered one of the most toughest branches of engineering. Not because I was very interested in it, but because my mom always wanted me to be an engineer. And she was very pissed at me for not going to US to pursue my master's, because all of my cousins, all of my relatives, all of my neighbors, all of my friends have been going to US to pursue their masters. But I said no, I don't want to do masters again in engineering. I just hope my mom doesn't listen to this, because उनको उतना दुख सुन के मेरे विदाई पे नहीं होगा जितना ये सुन के होगा कि मुझे साइंस में कोई इंटरेस्ट ज़्यादा है नहीं. But because I just wanted to talk to you, so I took the mic. But as a student.
What is your question? Will you? Yeah, I think we've got to applaud her for saying all that she has done.
Yes.
I want to ask you, will you?
I have a question.
Okay, ask your question.
Yes. So recently I have been asked by बचपन में भी हमसे पूछा जाता था कि what is your ambition, and I still remember that in the elocution competition also I said I want to become an astronaut, and I'm not lying about it, and I even got second prize in that competition. But now when people are asking me what do you want to become, life is hitting hard as you grow now, so I don't know exactly what do I want to become. So I want to ask you, was it the same so many years back? Did you know that you actually wanted to become an astronaut, or did life happen?
Okay. Yeah. So actually you've given me the answer to your question yourself, and the reason for that is I never wanted to become an astronaut. Why didn't I want to become an astronaut? Because I knew that our country does not have a manned space program. So the point is that this thing fell into my lap, and therein lies a learning that whatever falls into your lap, firstly, don't kick it, try it. If you like it, then, and it must become your passion. For you to achieve anything of value, you must be passionate about that. So be very frank, and if it doesn't grab your attention, that's okay. You go and look for something else. But whatever you do it to the best of your ability. Will that make you rise to the top? May not. But will you be happy having done your best? Yes. In my case, I've just been fortunate, I never wanted to be an astronaut. These were geopolitical reasons why the flight was offered by Russia, and ISRO didn't want to do it, so the Air Force was asked. So it was a long chain of good luck which happened. So
now I have an answer that even Rakesh Sharma didn't know that he wanted to become an astronaut. Who am I?
No. So the other part of the comment you made, that she always wanted you to do a master's, please tell her that Rakesh Sharma is actually a tricolate. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing the National Defence Academy, it was not affiliated to any of the universities. So though it is equivalent to a bachelor's degree, I don't have a bachelor's degree. Then I did the experimental test pilot's course, which is the equivalent of a post-graduation in aeronautical science. But my organization was not affiliated to any university. So I don't have a university degree. I'm 12th class pass. किसी को बता, मम्मी को बता दो, but don't tell anybody. Okay?
Before moving on to next question should be crisp. Okay? अच्छा, before that, sir, आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप वही आंसर दोहरा सकते हैं जब इंदिरा गांधी जी ने आपसे पूछा था कि कैसे भारत कैसे दिख रहा है. Your own words.
But during the presentation मैंने आपको बताया भारत कैसे दिखता है और क्यों ऐसे दिखता है.
आपने जो एग्जैक्ट आंसर दिया था आप
इंदिरा जी को, that answer was that मेरे से पूछा गया था कि आपको वहाँ से भारत कैसे लगता है, and my honest answer was बिना किसी झिझक के कह सकता हूँ सारे जहाँ से.
Yeah. Next question.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, what are your thoughts of...
Please mention your name and department.
Sir, I'm Lavanya from Astrophysics, second year. So my question is, what are your thoughts on the possibility of humans colonizing other planets in the future?
Yeah, so I did also mention about that. It's going to be a very difficult task. I want to tell everybody, space is a great place to visit, but it's a very difficult place to work in, all right? So, which is why I've brought in that point about being passionate about what you do. I mean, there are people who have walked to the North Pole because they're passionate about doing that. But don't look at it only because it's a vertical and it provides you with a job. That won't do. It's very difficult to be productive in that environment.
Next question, please.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sahiti. I am from MBA from Andhra Manasabha School of Informatics. So my question is that we have been listening that people are going to be settled on the moon. So is it really possible in future?
Yeah, there is a possibility we are going to be settling on the moon. But I think the point to consider is, are we going to wreck the moon the way we are wrecking planet Earth? I have a feeling that we must get our act together on Earth before we go out. Otherwise, if we carry on the same model of development, then we are going to ruin that planet. So we are just going to be going from planet to planet and leaving behind destruction, you know. So I don't think, that's not a very, although we are supposed to be an intelligent species, it's not a very intelligent thing to do. So I would rather that we fix that part of it before we go out. We should, otherwise all you're doing is you're exporting conflict from the Earth right into space.
Next question.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Sindhu from Mechanical Engineering Department. It's a great pleasure to speak with you. So you're a very huge inspiration to me, sir. My question is, what is the career path aerospace engineer to work on a space flight in space industry like ISRO, NASA, to go into space?
Okay, I want you to know that anybody who crosses 100 kilometers altitude height is going to be an astronaut. Okay, so if your limited aim is to be an astronaut, then you please excel in any of the disciplines which would be required to set up a human habitation in space, to set up a habitation on the moon. Are you going to be an architect? Are you going to be an environmental engineer? Are you going to be somebody who is an expert in managing the environment inside the bubble? Whatever it is. Or are you going to be just a researcher who wants to carry out research inside that bubble? Whoever you want to be, if you're going to work in that environment, you'll be an astronaut. So being an astronaut is a very limited aim. What are you going to achieve there as an astronaut is the more important question. Have I explained myself? No, yes, apparently not. Just give the mic back to her. She has a further doubt.
How do you get into space? Like, I got that, like, to work in any...
How do you get into... You just be good in your line. And you just wait for things to happen. And then you apply as the speciality you have gained. Is it possible without a PhD?
Like
without a PhD. I told you, I am 12th class pass.
So maybe she is asking that is there any course Any master's
Well,
program?
yeah,
or
yeah.
anything
There's a
which-
course. There's an Indian Institute of Space Technology in Trivandrum. It's run by the Indian Space Research Organization. But then you will get absorbed in ISRO, right? You could get absorbed in ISRO and remain on ground and contribute to the Indian space program. But we do not, we've just started on the Gaganyaan project. In time, you will have to monitor how it is growing. Are we going to be having an astronaut corps? The answer is yes. But what will that astronaut corps do? The answer to that is it depends on what is going to be the white paper that is going to be given out by ISRO. What are our plans in the next 25 years, 50 years? Are we going to colonize space? Are we going to intercept asteroids and mine asteroids for use back on Earth? Are we going to share whatever we find out there with the rest of the country? I mean, there are a whole heap of questions. You'll have to keep your ear close to the ground, and then you'll have to apply when the time comes to the vertical which is of interest to you.
So before next question, one interesting question came from Professor Vamshidhar from Department of Philosophy, head of the Department of Philosophy. It's a philosophical question. Already man roams space even though man has unable to reach human touch. Why?
Say again, sorry?
Already man roams space. So man is visiting space and many people went there. Even though man has unable to reach human touch. Why? Space, okay? Even though man has unable to reach human touch.
Aliens. Well, the answer to that, again, I can only conjecture. It is my feeling that our time scale is quite different to the cosmic time scale. At the moment, like for example, our vision is limited, the speed at which we can travel is limited by the speed of light. So, and our human lifespan is, well, 100 odd years, that's 100 years if you're lucky. So, to expect things to happen within our lifetime is, I think, a very tall expectation. The question is, do you think we are the only intelligent species in the universe? My emphatic answer to that is no, because I do not believe it is a typically arrogance of human beings to think we are the only intelligent guys. We don't know what lies ahead. You take any branch of science, talk to any scientist of repute, he will say that I have faced a block during my research. I know there is something that lies across, but I haven't yet reached there. So that is what I would like to answer.
Yes, sir. Okay. Next question, please. Good afternoon, everyone in this room. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi.
I would like to ask a question. I am from Technology Management Department, Marketing, Osmania University.
Yeah.
My question is to you, sir. While you are flying from Earth to space, what was the fuel used? Do you face any problem for bringing the resources? Like we are using like hydrogen fuel. So do you face any issues while bringing the fuel for the vehicle?
No, didn't face any issues connected with propulsion, didn't face any issues connected with the human body, because we had trained for precisely those kind of conditions. So we didn't have any problems, both during the ascent as well as during the return.
We have lack of resources, right, sir? Means, due to rapid change in the environment. One question, please.
Sorry?
Due to rapid change in the environment, there will be utilization of resources very much high. Do you face any problem for acquiring the resources in order to survive in the environment of innovation? No, I think the question is not clear, actually. Okay, we have a time for only 3 questions, okay? No.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Kirti Bhargavi. I am from the Department of Astronomy, MSc second year student. Sir, I want to ask you a question. If you get a chance to go space again, will you go, sir?
Yes, I will.
And why, sir?
I will, but I'd like to go as a tourist because I want to sit near the window and watch the beauty that is there.
Thank you, sir.
As a professional, I never had the chance to do that.
Namaste, sir. My name is Abhishek. I'm second year astrophysics student. From your slides, I think I draw that you are a spiritual person because you said Vasudeva Kutumbakam. And just now you are saying that you want to just watch the earth and the space.
Yeah.
So I believe you are a spiritual person. Was there any spiritual epiphany which you experienced after reaching space and watching earth from the space, and if you had any spiritual connector?
Well, how should I don't want to sound arrogant, but I am happy being who I am, okay? I have not read the Gita, but I believe that the crux of every religion is to live like a good human being, and I believe I have understood that without going to the temple. I don't think, just as I tell everybody, it's not important to go into space to realize the scale on which things are, to realize how vulnerable we are. It's not important to go into space. Of course, seeing only validates what is written in the books. For heaven's sake, our culture is thousands of years old, and a lot of the stuff we are rediscovering today is being read by foreigners, and they are repackaging it and remarketing it and giving back to us. Okay. So we are a very advanced civilization, but we lost the plot somewhere along the way. So wonderful answer, sir. Thank you. One last question.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Anupama from Civil Department. It is a dream come true for me. I have been waiting for this moment for a long time. My question for you is, how was your journey as a cosmonaut, and how did you manage to keep yourself motivated throughout your journey? And this question is from my father. How did you manage to keep yourself motivated, and your family and your passion? How did you manage?
I can't answer for my family, but that you'll have to ask my wife. But how did I keep myself motivated? I think it was the discipline which I learned as a service officer, which was taught to me in the National Defence Academy. What is honor, what is duty. So even if the going gets tough, since you have accepted a particular role, you got to make sure that you deliver on that role, no matter what happens. And that is the sum and substance and the ethos of at least the Indian Armed Forces. I cannot speak for others, and I wouldn't like to speak for anybody else.
Thank you very much, sir. You have answered all the questions, and we are all satisfied. Due to lack of time, we have to, stop this session. Otherwise, it will continue till evening. There is no doubt about it. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Sriram, sir. I think the entire hall will have a lot of questions to ask, sir. I think 84 he has achieved that feat. It's close to 40 years. We'll have lot many questions to ask. But I sincerely thank Dr. Shantipriya ma'am, Rukmani ma'am, Chinna Reddy sir, and Sriram sir for handling the Q&A session. Quickly, if you can come behind, sir, for a photograph. Rukmani ma'am, Shantipriya ma'am, please, if you can come behind, sir, for a group pic. Now, without much ado, let me just speak out one last item on the agenda. We have a grand launching of the OU Infra On Track app. It's driving Osmania University digitally, and I would like to place on record the efforts of the alumni and Professor P. Naveen Kumar, Professor from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering and Director Infrastructure OU. He was instrumental in developing several new initiatives under the guidance of Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. And the OU website information was made available in 28 different languages of national and international for more accessibility. And there was a replacement of age-old wire phones in the wireless phones through the campus and constituent colleges. There were new guidelines issued for the procurement. There were a lot of MOUs that were signed with USA, Japan, Germany, Italy, Malaysia, Czech Republic, Oman, Thailand, and with the Vatican City. And there's yet another initiative of OU, that is infrastructure tracking through the mobile software applications. That is the OU Infra on track. May I have Naveen sir on the dais? Naveen sir. So I request, I think we're seizing on the opportunity of Rakesh Sharma sir here. So there would be an unveiling of, and sir will go about with clicking the mouse. So just a click of a mouse. Just click the mouse.
Historic significance in making great education policies, decisions for welfare of students, faculty. In this connection, we have selected our Senate Hall, selected for Asset Track, to track the infrastructure status. Infra on Track is an asset management application. It's designed to track and manage the assets, or IT infra of the all departments of OU. Outcomes: this application is helpful to understand the available equipment, tools, and software in labs to students. Universities authorities can use same data for tracking the assessed information on periodic basis. This also helps to ensure the quality implementation, which results in accreditation. The same can be extended to affiliated colleges to ensure the infrastructure available to ensure quality education, and same can be stored and used as a repository of the OU. This helps during inspections.
Okay, there's always unveiling of the app. Naveen sir and all the alumni members for facilitating this grand launch of the app. There's something which starts with the school of Rakesh Sharma sir. There are faculty members from St. George's Grammar at Abbots, and they would like to present a souvenir to Rakesh Sharma sir. The school teachers of George's Grammar from Abbots. Now, you can't have a bigger brand ambassador than Rakesh Sharma sir for the George's Grammar School. Okay, we will get at the next part. It will be a blessing. Thank you very much, the teachers from George's Grammar. Thank you. And thanks to sir for humbly accepting this. May I request Rakesh Sharma sir to do the felicitations to our Vice Chancellor sir, to Registrar sir, and Malaysian sir as well. I request Rakesh Sharma ji, sir. Thank you, sir. So with your permission to do felicitations to our Vice Chancellor sir. Very quickly to our Vice Chancellor sir, it's a blessing from our senior cosmonaut. Thank you to our Vice Chancellor for pursuing and bringing Rakesh Sharma sir here and his entire team in the VC Peshi. And on this moment, I'd like to thank immensely P. Ramesh sir, who was the PA to the Vice Chancellor. I think it was 6 months of his efforts and pursuit that we could see the man of the mission here. And to our Registrar sir, P. Lakshminarayan sir. Sir, request you to do the honors to Malaysian sir, a young leader who has been working arduously over the months for this foundation day, and also mention another person who doesn't like to hog the limelight. That is Rajendra Nayak sir. Can we put our hands together? You can see his show in the afternoon when there are cultural programs. He's working immensely as well. Thanks once again to all the ones in the audience and bearing with us with the inclement weather, hot conditions, no AC, no power. We really appreciate for having you all. I know it's not my job to give the vote of thanks. And there's one felicitation left for Tanmay as well, who had given us that fusion dance in the morning. Is she there around, Tanmay? She's a student from the Saifabad Science College. She's still with that attire. Can you put our hands together to thank her for giving us that wonderful invocation dance in the morning? I'd like to thank Malaysian sir, VC sir, Registrar sir for giving me this opportunity to host this program. And it's all yours, Malaysian sir.
esteemed guests on the dais and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen, and very good afternoon to all of you. Myself, Professor Mallesham, alumnus of this great Mother Osmania University. I did my engineering from this same university in 96 to 2000, and it's a proud privilege for me to be hosting this 106 Foundation Day. And it's a great privilege for me to propose a vote of thanks on the occasion of 106 Foundation Day celebrations of Osmania University. Firstly, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our honorable chief guest, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, Research Consultant, Cosmonaut India, for gracing this occasion, sir. We are extremely delighted and honored to have you, sir. And we are really thank you for your sparing your valuable time, sir, and interacting with the young minds here, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And also, I would like to thank guest of honor, Professor E. Suresh Kumar, sir, Honorable Council Member UGC and Vice Chancellor of FLU, for being part of this today's program. He came all the way from Delhi. He is in the middle of the program, sir, just because of this program. He came yesterday night, and again he is leaving back to Delhi again to continue this program, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for your seriousness towards the alma mater, sir. Thank you, sir. And also for your motivational speech, how you should be grow in spite of all the obstacles on our journey, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to convey our appreciation to our President of this program, Professor D. Ravinder, sir, Vice Chancellor, and for his constant and continuous efforts for development of Osmania University with his vision and dynamism, and who believes in hard work, honesty, and thinking about out of the box. He powered by the principle of already said, reform, perform, and transform. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And also, sir, we all teaching faculty, we thank you for announcing the funding for the research in the department, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I also thank Professor Lakshman, sir, Register, OU, for his continuous support and who is always take a lead for the welfare of the university as a guiding light. Thank you, sir. And also, I thank Professor Rajendra, sir, Dean Student Welfare, Professor Naveen, sir, Infrastructure Director, Professor Patrick, sir, for his PRO Vice Chancellor, for taking this program a successful one. And also I thank all the sales directors, Professor Mangu, Professor Chalamala Venkateswarlu, Professor Dr. Unisa Madam, Dr. Konda Nageshwar Rao, and also the special person Sri Ramulu, sir, Professor Sri Ramulu, sir. Thank you for bringing many young kids for this program, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I thank each and everyone present here, deans, principals of the campus and constituent colleges, heads of the department, chairpersons of the board of studies, teaching, non-teaching staff, and student scholars. With your presence, today's program would have not been a grand success. Thank you and all for your cooperation, great cooperation, even in the difficulty of there is no power in this Tagore Auditorium. Thank you each and everyone. A special thanks to alumni for their participation and continuous support to our Mother Osmania University. Finally, I thank print and electronic media for the wide coverage of this 106 Foundation Day celebrations in the last three days. Once again, I thank all the stakeholders for joining this Osmania University Foundation Day program, and I hope you will have a wonderful entertainment programs in the afternoon. After this, you have a lunch, and that is the Taksh 2023 with a cultural program which is starting at 3 p.m. You have a lunch in the just beside this auditorium, and please join at 3 o'clock for this Taksh 2023 cultural program. Thank you one and all for the participation in the program. Thank you.
We are done with the program. Kindly enjoy your lunch and come back
for the cultural program. Lunch is just beside the auditorium. As you come out of the auditorium, it's on the left side. Kindly cooperate, don't hog around there. There's enough food for everyone. So kindly make space for everyone there. Thank you.